Hey everyone, I just saw this tribute to Christopher Lee right here, and it's quite moving, by Peter Jackson, one of my favorite directors who directed King Kong. I'm going to read it to you, but so I can read it effectively, and also because I can't walk and chew gum at the same time, I'm going to put the camera here as I read the vlog. It goes like this. It's at USA Today. It came out today. It is with tremendous sadness that I learned of the passing of Sir Christopher Lee. He was 93 years old, had not been in his usual good health for some time, but his spirit remained, as always, indomitable. Christopher spoke 7 languages. He was in ever since a man of the world, well-versed in art, politics, literature, history, and science. He was a scholar, a singer, an extraordinary raconteur, and of course, a marvelous actor. One of my favorite things to do whenever I came to London would be to visit with Christopher and Jet, his wife, where he would regale me for hours with stories about his extraordinary life. I loved to listen to them, and he loved to tell them. They were made all the more compelling because they were true. Stories from his time with the SAS, through the Second World War, to the Hammer horror years, and later his work with Tim Burton, of which he was enormously proud. I was lucky enough to work with Chris on 5 films, all told, and it never ceased to be a thrill to see him on the set. I remember him saying on my 40th birthday, he was 80 at the time, "You're half the man I am." Being half the man Christopher Lee is more than I could ever hope for. He was a true gentleman in an era that no longer values gentlemen. I grew up loving Christopher Lee movies. For most of my life, I was enthralled by the great iconic roles he not only created, but continues to own decades later. But somewhere along the way, Christopher Lee suddenly and magically dissolved away, and he became my friend Chris, and I loved Chris ever more. There will never be another Christopher Lee. He had has a unique place in the world history of cinema and in the hearts of millions of fans around the world. My deepest sympathies to Jet and to his family and friends. Rest in peace, Chris. An icon of cinema has passed into legend.